Hi friends, welcome to Diksuchi, driven by passion and values. Today we are going to study about types of risk with Dr. G. Sabita. What is risk? It was already discussed in the previous videos. If you haven't watched it, please go to the description box, see the link and watch the video for your better clarification. Further, if you want any additional information about this risk, definitely I will be posting a new video exclusive for risk if required. Now, come back to our topic. Today is types of risk. What are the types of risk? Means risk is not just a positive risk or negative risk. It is not just a loss or profit. There are different types of risk which are under your control, which are not under your control. Which are under your control where you can reduce the risk. Which are not under your control, you can't reduce the risk. On this basis, there are two types of risks are defined in this video. First one is systematic risk. Systematic risk. The other one we can say that is unsystematic risk, of course. One is systematic and the other one is unsystematic risk. Fine. Now, what is systematic risk? So, the name itself says the risk is systematic. Is there any system or is there a risk can be systematic? Yes, of course. Means it is clearly defined. It is clearly measured. That is what the systematic risk is. Now, if you want to know exactly what is a systematic risk, which is unavoidable, or we can say uncontrollable. We also can say non-diversifiable. I think you have got an idea what exactly the systematic risk is? Yes. Systematic risk is not controllable. You can't control. Example, you can talk about. So, when you want to talk about the examples, one, we can see interest rate risk. Interest rate risk. This is one example. What is interest rate risk? If you borrow funds from anywhere, you already committed to particular interest. That interest cannot be changed. It is fixed. So, interest rate risk and the amount whatever you are borrowed, the price of that particular amount may increase, or else you borrowed funds to buy a house. The house of the price may increase or decrease, but the interest rate is not going to be changed, but that is going to be show effect on your savings. So somehow whatever the interest rate is fixed by the banks, fixed by your lender, definitely it is going to uncontrollable. That has to be paid at any cost. Whether you earn money, whether you don't earn money, you have to pay a certain interest to them. So that is what the interest rate risk is. The other example for this is the best example, the very important example under systematic risk is market risk. What is this market risk? You know, everybody knows that market is volatile. What is volatile? It may increase or decrease, ups and downs, may be favorable, unfavorable, giving more profits, giving less profits or losses. So market risk, that also not under your control. However, the market is happening, based on that your risk is going to be affected. So simple example, if you want to buy groceries or if you want to buy vegetables, what do? You go to market, whatever the price it can be, you are going to buy at that price. You can't say that yesterday was priced like that and why the price was increased, price is increased. No. Same way, the market risk is whatever there in the market that is going to be applied to your amount or the situation. That is what the market risk is. The next one we can say, the other example under the systematic risk is purchasing power risk. Purchasing power risk. What is this purchasing power risk? Means the demand for the product may increase or decrease depending on which the purchasing power of an individual comes down. Same way, the price of that particular commodity is going to come down. That is what we generally say, that purchasing power risk. So these are systematic risk. Examples of systematic risk means where the risk involved in it, the risk associated with the particular activity may not be changed, may not be controlled, may not be avoided, may not be reduced. That is what the systematic risk is. Now let us talk about the unsystematic risk. Now let me talk about the unsystematic risk. The name itself says which can be avoidable. Which can be avoidable. Which can be controlled. Which can be diversified. Is it? So with this you clearly understand what is the unsystematic risk is. Which can be avoided, which can be controlled, which can be diversified is what the unsystematic risk is. So examples, if you want to see the examples. So best example, first one is business risk. What is business risk? Means the risk associated with the business. How you want to take that business forward, how you want to take that business further is defined by you, which can be controlled by you. So when you choose a particular business, you definitely will look into the risk involved with this, right? So if you don't want to take risk, definitely you don't choose such kind of a business. So the operations, the activities, the decisions involved in particular business is going to be define you how much risk have to be borne by you. That is what the business risk is. Clear? Now the other example, if you want to say. So what the example we can say, that is less business risk, and the other one we can say, yeah, credit risk. Credit risk. What is credit risk? When you borrow funds from someone, then what do? You are trying to collect from them back. If the person pays, then fine. If the person doesn't pay, you are going to lose that particular money. But how it is unsystematic risk? How it is controlled? When you are giving finance to somebody, when you are lending amount to somebody, see how the particular person is financial credentials are. For example, a company, a bank, somebody is giving loan or credit to a particular company. So the company financial status must be read, based on which you are going to give them the amount. So you are trying to avoid the risk associated in giving funds to somebody else, right? So that is credit risk. Of course there is a risk. You are already talking about there is a risk, but it can be controlled. It is not that totally you can avoid. You can be controlled. It can be controlled. Instead of losing 100 rupees, you are losing only 20 or 30, something like that. So that is what the unsystematic risk, and which can be controlled, right? So then next one is the other example we can say, that is operational risks. The other one we can say operational risk. Means how you want to, what kind of operations you are conducting within the business or within the system or within the project. So what kind of operations are carried over there, based on which you are trying to avoid the risk involved with that. If you know that, see, you are cutting vegetables, you know the risk associated with the knife, then how much care you take care of it. It means that you know that it is going to cut, but it has to cut the vegetables rather your finger. Same way, the operations whatever will be carried under, example in a manufacturing company, it can be especially. right? There's a lot of risk is involved in during a particular manufacturing of a particular commodity. So they understand what is the risk involved in it, and they try to take precautions to avoid such kind of a problem. That is what the unsystematic risk is. That is what we can say that the risk is controlled. Is example is an operational risk. So these are what generally the types of risks are two, only two. If you want to summarize the topic what we are discussing today, there are two types of risk. One is systematic risk, the other one is unsystematic. Systematic is controllable, uncontrollable, and unsystematic is controllable. Systematic is non-diversifiable, whereas unsystematic is diversifiable. If you want to see the examples for systematic risk, it can be interest rate risk, it can be market risk, or it can be purchasing power risk. Whereas unsystematic risk, it is a business risk, it is a credit risk or financial risk or operational risk. So this is what the types of risk is. So friends, for today, I think you understood what are the types of risk. So that's all for today's video. So hope we'll meet you in the next video with a new topic. And still, if you want further information related to this, please let me know so that I can prepare some more video on that particular topic and we can release for you. Thank you all. Bye bye.